Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Scott Riley, the Market Update Desk, July 5th. Hopefully, everybody had a fantastic 4th of July, celebrating 248 years of America. We got this morning the all important, much anticipated, not quite known what was going to show BLS jobs report. So, what you're going to see splashed all over the media, and especially by politicians, is what the headline number showed without going in depth of what really took place in this report. It was an incredibly weak jobs report. So the headline number showed 206,000 jobs created. On the surface of that, that sounds very fantastic because the market was expecting between 190 and 200,000 jobs. What the headline doesn't show, what the media is not talking about in depth, and what the politicians just won't talk about are the negative downward revisions to the last 2 months. So for April and May, we saw a negative 110,000 job creation decline or revision. So those jobs never existed. They were air. They were never there. That's a significant number. That's an average of 55,000 jobs a month that were thin air created out of nothing. Of course, that came from the birth-death model, which was incredibly overstated and terrible data by the BLS. So when we look at that minus 110,000 jobs, what would the market have been like? The 10-year Treasury, the mortgage-backed securities, and I feel bad for the people that had to lock into a rate then because of where they are with a purchase agreement, because they overpaid on the interest rate because of faulty data. And that's a very frustrating thing from our end on the mortgage side. When we break down this report, let's go in depth here. So the birth-death model showed that small business added 59,000 jobs. Wow, if that were true, that would be fantastic. But once again, the ADP payroll report that surveys small business and doesn't impute the data showed only 5,000 jobs created from small businesses. So once again, this is probably the 206,000 jobs probably vastly overstated, where we'll see revisions in the next coming months. Within the report of where it shows the jobs came from, 70,000 from government jobs, federal, state, and local. When we look at healthy economies that can sustain growth, those jobs are not, that it's not created from government jobs because that has to be paid via taxes. So a healthy economy is not leading the way with government jobs. So there's some scary things that are within this. Healthcare showed that it was up 49,000 jobs. That could even be maybe a little bit understated in my opinion. Healthcare is just a vastly growing field that's desperately needed. Education, plus 33,000 jobs. I'm confused by this because we're sitting in the middle of July. How do we have 33,000 jobs created from education when school doesn't start till the fall? So there's some things in there that I don't necessarily trust on the surface of that. Average weekly earnings, very important data point, grew by 0.3%, but year over year it was a 0.2 decline. So we're showing weakness in jobs, overstated in a lot of ways, and a slowdown in earnings for workers. Those are all things that do not point to a healthy job market, points to a very weak job market. Now, those are all the headline numbers. Let's talk about the household survey, which really is real data and to me, much more applicable. Job growth, 116,000. Remember last month, it showed a negative 206,000. So this 116, probably closer to being correct in my opinion. The labor force participation rate grew by 277,000. The labor force percentile participation increased by 0.2%. Now, the media is saying they're quite shocked and surprised that the unemployment rate grew by 0.1. It went from 4% to 4.1. That was not expected to happen for the media. But those of us who follow numbers and actual information kind of expected an increase to 4.1. We heard some whispers of it. So that's the headline unemployment. Once again, we really truly need to look at the U6 unemployment, which is the all-in unemployment. It includes everybody, not just people that fall off the unemployment initial claims rolls. That stayed steady at 7.4%. That's a very high number. Now, if you take anything away from today, we had a very specific recession indicator happen today. So there's something called the SAHM rule, SAHM. What that marks is a specific threshold that, if it's breached, shows that we are in a technical recession. That number is if the unemployment rate is 0.5% above the 12-month average for unemployment. We have now reached the technical recession level, and we are in a recession. So once again, it's probably nothing you're going to see in the regular headline media, because they don't think they really understand it, and they don't want to talk about it. So this just shows the jobs market isn't anything of what you're hearing in the media. Please look at the real numbers, not just what the media is talking about. This does definitely give the runway to the Fed to start to talk about decreases in interest rate. In fact, the betting market is now 75% chance of a September rate cut. Let's kind of see how everything plays out. Next week's another barn burner. We have inflation numbers for next week: consumer price inflation, producer price inflation. We're heading into the weekend. There's usually a little bit of nervousness on that. We have multiple political things going on right now, so we could get some variances over the weekend as we go into Monday. But let's be on guard. We're doing well in the market, and see if we can hold it through to next week. Give us a call. We'll help you get pre-approved. We're on call all weekend. 616-293-2189. The Market Update Desk is your original singular West Michigan market news source. Hope you have a great afternoon.